No matter what happens, life is still beautiful. There's a lot of beauty that the world gives us, but there's also a lot of pain that the same world gives us. And now, why do we say that no matter what happens, life is still beautiful? Behind the pains that the world gives us, there's some beauty that normally comes afterwards. After you've struggled so much, after you've felt pain so much, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. But when you're still struggling in pain, you don't see any beauty in it. No matter what happens, life is so beautiful. The world gives us so many challenges. Many times we find ourselves so broken. We find ourselves with a lot of heartaches, a lot of disappointments, a lot of heartbreaks. We lose our loved ones. And this breaks us so much. And therefore, it makes us not see the beauty in life. There are so many disappointments, so many that I can mention. We have things like, take it as an example, you are a business person, you are planning to invest in some kind of business, but later on, whatever you expected does not come to be. All you get are losses. You'll find yourself now languishing in darkness. You lose hope. You don't see anything good. After all, everything is lost. There's nothing good you see. Another good example that I have, you are a mother, you've given birth. We know women, we go through a lot when we are giving birth. Even before giving birth, the conception bit of it, maybe before you conceived, it took you so much time, and finally you are happy, you are lucky, you've conceived, you've got what you wanted. The joy comes. You struggle with the pregnancy, then you give birth, and after a short while, just from nowhere, the baby that you really waited for a very long time just dies like that. It becomes so heartbreaking. You are a woman who has really suffered in love. Whatever relationship you tried, it failed. But finally, you find someone that you really treasure in your life. The person that meant a lot to you, you only find that this person, you didn't mean anything, even a pinch to him. And you struggled so much. You persevered in this relationship. There were so many ups and downs. Only having hopes that one day things will be okay. Then later, you come to realization that he's not the kind of a person you expected to be. What do you get? You get heartache. You get disappointments. You are a parent. You've given birth to children. You've taken good care of them. You've taken them to good schools. And later, when now you expect them to give you something in return, they end up perishing. What do you find at last? It's disappointment. And therefore, we find that the world gives us a lot of bitterness at times. The world breaks us so much to an extent that we, at times, all we see is darkness. I love mirrors. Most of the time when you're very keen, when I walk in the streets, you'll notice that areas where I'm commonly seen, you'll notice that there's a mirror somewhere. I look at myself, I admire myself. And surprisingly, one day I asked myself, why is it that when I wake up early in the morning, the first thing I do after I've prayed, it is the mirror that I go to straight. When I look at myself in this mirror, I see something beautiful that God created. I see hope. I look at myself and I admire and I say that, oh, this is God's creation. I don't think if there's anybody who has ever looked herself in a mirror and noticed that she's not beautiful. And I think there's a way in which mirrors are made. Automatically, they'll just show how beautiful you are. That's life. Now, take that precious mirror that you have in a very dark room. You'll realize that you see nothing in that mirror. All you can see is darkness. The beautiful you cannot see it. And it same applies to life. Whenever we are going through a lot of heartaches, whenever we are going through a lot of pain, there's nothing in us we see. All we see is the darkness that we are going through. All we see is the heartbreak. All we see is the betrayal from good friends that we trusted. All we see are our children who ended up disappointing us instead of making us proud. All we see is our dead friends and dead relatives who left us. We only see darkness. And that's the black mirror. There's nothing good that can be seen in a black mirror. There's nothing attractive in something that is so dark in a dark room. There's nothing you can see in that mirror. Yes. So that is life. Life at times gives us things that are so bitter. And when we are going through this bitterness, there is no hope that we see. All we see is whatever is hurting us, whatever is making us cry. And by the time you are crying, even the beautiful you now does not come out. You begin to have low self-esteem. You begin to see yourself as something else, nothing good in you. As human, the pains that we go through are gifts in disguise. Because at the end of each tunnel, there is light. Follow through with us in the next episode. I'm your host, Mary Rachel Ngore. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Press the notification button. Each and every time we post a new episode, you get notified. Thank you.